Well, an interesting first day of the divisional round of the playoffs in the NFL. Yesterday, you had both games going over the total with ease. You have one home favorite barely holding on for the cover, that being Seattle. You have the other home favorite not coming close to the cover, but managing to overcome a 14-point deficit to pull out the win and advance in the Patriots. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, general manager of the world's largest online sports handicapping website in the world, and that, of course, is VegasSportsAdvisors.com. And this is going to be your Sunday video report here on Roku. Remember, you can catch my daily video report along with those of Trace Adams and Brandon Lang, who, of course, had the movie profiling his life as a professional sports handicapper made by Hollywood, Two for the Money, starring Matthew McConaughey as Brandon Lang and having Al Pacino and Rene Russo in the movie as well. He has a daily video report as well over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com, and you can get all of our best bets absolutely free if you haven't done so yet. I'll tell you about that one-day absolutely free offer with no strings attached coming up in just a moment. Before we move forward to today's games, and I've got a free play and an intense breakdown on your Dallas Green Bay contest in a moment, plus a freebie in college basketball as well on Tulane and South Florida, let's take a step back in time and look at the Saturday games. You know, one of the most interesting, perplexing things about my job is that often I cannot enjoy watching a game, and I'll tell you why. New England and Baltimore yesterday. I didn't have a vested interest in it because my best bet wasn't even in football yesterday, okay? But I told you here on the video report that the way I would play yesterday's two games, I like Seattle minus the points. At the time I released the game, it was 11.5. I like Seattle minus the points against Carolina is the best play yesterday. And then the other play, although I leaned toward New England, I told you I thought perhaps the way to play that game was to hook New England in a two-team 6-point teaser along with Seattle. And my logic was, I told you all out there that if you believed like me that the Patriots would not lose that game, why not play them in the teaser? Because Seattle was going to take care of its business easily, even without the 6 points you get in the 2-point teaser against Carolina. So I'm watching the game yesterday, and, well, Ravens up by 14 points, and New England's a 7-point favorite. I'm going, oh my, this teaser doesn't even look good. What made it tough for me to watch that game and why I couldn't enjoy what turned out to be a great football game is the fact that just about, well, in fact, every single handicapper here at VegasSportsAdvisors.com that had a play on that game yesterday had a monster play on the Ravens, none bigger than Scott Delaney, who had the first ever 200-dime play in his 12 years as a charter member of the site on Baltimore yesterday. Anthony Redd had his 80-dime NFL winner number 3 in a row on the Ravens. Brian Rosica had a 50-dime winner on the Ravens. Craig Davis, who has just been a phenomenal handicapper in the pros over the years he's been at the site, he had his 100-dime NFL winner. I think it was like number 39 out of 58 on the Ravens as well, and 10 out of 14. So then the Patriots in the fourth quarter start coming back. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I want to see the Patriots come back because it'll make the teaser look good, but I don't want them to come back too much. Baltimore goes down. They take that 31-28 lead. And I'm thinking, okay, guys, right there you blew the game for yourselves. You cost yourself a chance to advance. You're knocking on the doorstep, and you know you just don't get that many opportunities late in the fourth quarter on the road to deliver, and you had to settle for a field goal. What happens? Tom Brady marches the Patriots right down the field. Amazing job by Brady yesterday, considering he was playing with absolutely no ground support. They then take the commanding lead. Baltimore, of course, takes the kickoff, and they start moving. And I'm thinking, hey, you know, Ravens are at that point that they are going to make a game of this again. And remember that 4th and 1 play? I'm sitting there, I'm thinking there's like 2 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in this game. They have got to get this first down, because if not, you turn that ball over and downs in midfield, and Patriots, who knows, maybe they score, maybe they get a field goal, they screw it up for everybody that's on Baltimore. So now I'm worrying all the more. Now I'm back to cheering for the Ravens after hoping for the previous 2 quarters that the Patriots would overcome a 2-touchdown deficit and somehow take the lead to make the teaser go well. Ravens go down, you saw how the game ended. I don't understand the play call with going for it on 2nd down. I know you were in a play action, but you are just nickel and diming that overworked, overextended, tired New England defense. Why not just keep going with what the girl that brought you to the dance, right? I just don't get it. I mean, you went for broke. It was a poorly thrown pass by Flacco. game, set, and match. And that's why the Ravens are going to be sitting here watching the games on TV next week, just like you and I. So you saw the teaser come in, and then how about the late game? Guys, how many times have I told you and anybody that would listen to me over the years that 99% of the time, without fail, you bet the favorites early, you bet the underdogs late. It just makes financial sense. And you look at what happened yesterday with that Seattle game as the public just started hammering the Seahawks. 11.5 points early in the morning, 12, 12.5, 13, 13.5 later in the day. Hey, it looked great when we got that late touchdown interception return to make a 21-point game, right? And then Carolina in the ensuing series drives right down and scores and cuts it to 14. What would happen if they had recovered an onside kick and scored again? I mean, you would have been dying there if it was a field goal they got somewhere along the lines. Again, you bet the favorites early, the underdogs late. Now, let's talk about these two games here today. Well, actually, I'll talk about one of them because the Denver-Indy game is actually my best bet today. But in the Dallas-Green Bay game, you can't deny the numbers. You got a Packers team that was 8-0 straight up at home. You got a Cowboys team that was 8-0 straight up on the road. You got a Cowboys team that covered 7 of those 8 games. You got a Packers team that covered 6 of those 8 games. The Packers, as I pointed out prior to the regular season finale 2 Sundays ago against Detroit, have played only 2 bad halves all season long at Lambeau, in my estimation. The first half of their home opener against the Jets and the second half of that game where they collapsed epically, blowing a 31-7 lead against Atlanta. Otherwise, just tremendous all season long. But the problem is Aaron Rodgers isn't healthy. We thought in the Detroit game he was only dealing with a strained calf. And, of course, when he left the game briefly, up 14-0, the Lions came right back, tied the game. Yes, he came back. Yes, he scored on a 1-yard scramble to get in the end zone. But now, in the layoff, in the interim that they had time to recover, we've also seen that he's not been practicing, and he actually has a partially torn calf muscle. For a guy who relies on his mobility, and a guy who was, of course, the fulcrum of the Packers' success with 25 touchdowns versus no interceptions in 8 games at Lambeau this season, that does not bode well. The Cowboys are not scared. They've got the offensive weaponry with Bryant, with DeMarco Murray, with Tony Romo. They got the jitters away after a horrific 3 quarters of play last week against Detroit, and then they got the non-call, or the call that was made and then reversed, if you want to say it that way, not necessarily a non-call. Hey, they won the game, and that's all that matters. So I look at this game. Now the line has moved down. Was 6. News with Rodgers comes out, down to 5.5 points. I still think you got to go with the Cowboys in this game. I still think it's a 3-point game, Green Bay winning. But then I'm looking at the total at 52 points. Do you guys see this being 17-16? Do you guys see this being 24-20? Do you see this being 34-30? Oh, hell yeah. So I think you play the over in that game, maybe shade the Cowboys as well. College basketball. Let's talk about this game between Tulane and South Florida, because if I don't talk about it, rest assured nobody else in the gambling world is going to talk about it, because it's a meaningless, obscure game. But the fact is, the Bulls, that's South Florida, coming off a 58-44 home loss to UConn. They had 7 field goals in the second half of the game. Listen, they took an early 13-5 lead, and that was pretty much it for the highlights for them in that game. They have lost 8 of their last 10. Meanwhile, Tulane is coming off a very hard-fought 64-56 loss to Red Hot Temple at home. But just a few days earlier, last Saturday, in fact, they went to Memphis as a 12-point dog, and they hammered the Tigers 74-66. Tulane's 11-4 in the season. They've only lost to Temple, Wake Forest, Washington, and St. John's. There you go. Nothing to be ashamed of there. So I'd lay the 8 with Tulane. Now, listen, guys, my best bet today is on, as I said, the Colts-Broncos game. Another handicapper, Gabriel DuPont, who has made $10 bettors well over $8,000 since the beginning of December and is on an 11-3 run with his 100-dime max wager releases, including a 4-0 sweep in the NFL. Today, his first ever 150-dime play since he joined our site a couple of years ago in the NFL. It's on your Dallas Green Bay game. You can get his play, you can get my play, you can get all the plays of all the handicappers, over $1,000 worth of action today for free. Check out the 1-day free all-access trial pass over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com. Free means free, guys. I'm not kidding around here. Your chance to get all our action. Why do I do it? Because what better way to show you that we can make you money than doing it for you for free? So check it out. The 1-day free all-access pass over at VegasSportsAdvisors.com. Best of luck to you guys, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. What am I saying? You'll catch me again tomorrow, guys. Al DeMarco right here on Roku. I'll talk to you then.